Ah, yes. Back at it again. We got nobody in the room right now. Not a single person. Oh, we got one. I'm gonna let the room build up a little bit before, you know, I get into my spiel with my people. Welcome. If you're coming into the room, hit me from, let me know what city and state you rocking. Let me know the city and state. Hit that like button as well. Yeah, we building it up. I got a little surprise for y'all tonight, but we got to build it up a little bit. Huh? Yeah, we building up a little bit. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I got some guests in the back room that y'all gonna want to speak to, so I hope y'all got your questions ready. I hope y'all know your hip hop tonight. It's gonna be some cool stuff we doing. You know, we like to keep it authentic. You know, Livingston, Scotland in the building. Scotland. Shout out to S Reynolds. It's not. Hey, listen. We gonna build this up. When y'all come into the room, I want to address y'all properly. You know, I want to make sure I salute y'all properly. So please put your city, state, or country in the comments so I can salute all my family that's coming into the room. We're gonna have a great conversation tonight. I'm excited. We had a great show with Naughty by Nature. So, um, you know, I might have some surprises. I know I got a couple. I got a couple up my sleeve, but I want to see, you know, a couple of people might see what we're doing. And at the artist, go to Instagram at the artist for us and send them the link. Okay. RJ Scum in the building, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Definitely when y'all come into the room, let me know where y'all repping so I could address y'all properly. You know, we're gonna do this like family. We're gonna have a great conversation tonight. I'm excited. Naughty by Nature was one of the biggest groups at that time. They could do no wrong. They had countless and countless anthems. I want to talk about how you feel about their success. I want to bring some people in that can contribute some stories to their success. And oh, who that? That's Super Lover C. Soup, what's good, baby? Oh, he just came into the all access iconic back door of the internet space we in. City and state, y'all. City and state. Let me know where you from. City and state. We're gonna build up for another minute or so. I like to really kick it off about the 5, 6 minute mark. Give a few people some time to pop in. Abdul, can you hear me? Abdul, can you hear me? You can't hear me. You can hear me now? All right, good. I got some special guests for y'all. We got some interesting stories. So I'm trying to let the room build up. I'm gonna give it another minute, y'all, and then we'll get cracking. Who else is in here tonight? I want to see who else is in the building tonight. Okay, Def Rocker, peace. Newark, New Jersey in the building. Where's my New Yorkers at? Anybody from New York in the building? Make sure y'all hit those like buttons. Make sure y'all share the live link on your social media to help us grow while we doing this. Jermaine Jenkins, my boy, what up, Jay? Brentwood, Long Island in the building, for real. What's up, fam? Make sure y'all share our links on your social media so people can catch the lives. Let me just do one thing because I made a mistake last week and had my live only program where I could see it on my page. So that defeated the whole purpose. Let me get all that straight before I start talking to y'all and bringing my people in. Like I said, when y'all get an opportunity, um, let me make sure people can see this live. Oh, here we go. We're gonna make sure this is super public. There we go. Now the world can see us. Okay. Corny, what's good? I just clicked over to the Facebook Live. What's happening, Porn? Long Island in the building, Richmond, Virginia, Sean Butters, Nicole. So I'm toggling back and forth between Facebook and YouTube. But we're gonna get things rocking. Make sure y'all hit them like buttons. I'm ready to go. So first of all, the people hit those like buttons, y'all. Hit those like buttons. We getting ready to get into this conversation. I'm getting ready to bring my brother in, Super Lover C, from the group Super Lover C Casanova Rudd. And then I'm gonna bring my brother Abdul Malik Abbott. He has a great story. I really want some more people to come in before we start talking because these guys gonna tell y'all some amazing things, stuff that I didn't even know. And that's what I love about doing these shows, like giving them your flowers. Because when you start doing the research, you learn so much about these artists that we used to watch and buy their music and dance to their music and party to their music. But there's so many tidbits to their career, and a lot of people had um, small contributions and large contributions to some of their success. So I'm gonna bring in my brothers now. Soup, what's good, man? Say what's up to the people.
Craze, what's going on, my brother? What's up, everybody?
Good, good, good. I know once they see y'all faces, they're gonna start filling in, but I'm gonna get things going because I know Abdul, I'll be with you in about 3 minutes, okay? Cool, he good. Right. So Soup, what do you think of the show tonight, man? You did a great job, man.
I
I like
appreciate
the commentary. You surprised me. You surprised me with the commentary, man. You definitely did your thing.
appreciate that, my brother. It was fun doing it, man. Love doing these shows, man, because you learn so much about the artists. Things that you didn't know, and it's just it's education, man. It's education on history, and it lets you know so much about why they deserve these flowers.
Right, right. And I know when we was working on the show, it was a lot of things. You was like, "Yo, man, I didn't know this," and "Man, I didn't know that." And it was just like, even for me, just learning. And we got a couple of, I think the season ends November 21st, so I think we got 4 shows left. But yeah, like Naughty by Nature, man, they did their thing. What do you think that made Naughty by Nature so special? At that time.
Well, I mean, they came out well, when that O.P.P came out, man. It was amazing. It was like one of them eye openers, man. Like, wow, where
Right,
did big record. Um, the way they came out, it was just something totally different, and that's always the key, man. You come
right.
out with something different, and you make it a smash hit, and they did exactly that, man. I mean, the whole thing was the combination of their appearance versus the music and the
Right.
message just made it an absolute hit.
The one thing when I saw Naughty by Nature, I ain't even gonna lie. I really, in my opinion, I thought they was from Cali, just the way they was dressed, the way they presented themselves. They was just so different. The way that they looked, they was just so different from everybody else. That
Absolutely
I was like, I really thought they was from the West Coast. Tretch
right,
with the braids and the jail suits. I didn't really know they was from Newark. You know what I mean? And
right,
then I learned there was some kind of issues between them and what was the group? Crisscross and Jermaine Dupri. And that was just a wild story in itself with that alone. But I want to bring in my brother Abdul. I want to shout out some more people that's coming into the room. Shout out to Zoo. Son Zoo, what's happening, man? Live from the 6, Toronto's in the building. We have Newark, New Jersey in the building, Brentwood, Long Island in the building, Richmond, Virginia in the building, We got Livingston, Scotland in the building. So we going across the water, across the country. Make sure y'all hit those like buttons while y'all there. I'm gonna bring my brother Abdul Malik Abbott in the building.
What up?
Abdul, what's happening, my bro?
Good to see you. Good to see you. What's happening? What's happening? Super Lover C. Legendary.
Right.
Good
So
to be here.
I got to give Abdul the proper introduction.
Uh-oh.
Because he said, uh-oh, because a lot of people don't know how important this man right here is to hip hop. I'm going to start off by saying maybe 20 years ago.
We can say that.
Maybe 20 years ago. I met Abdul when I was the young, no gray craze.
It was way longer than 20 years ago.
I know it had to be, yeah. It had to be about at least 25.
Mm-hmm.
At least 25. But Abdul is Cough Up a Lung, right? Jay-Z's Cough Up a Lung, you did?
Oh, okay. That was what was that called? That song was
Marcy, Ain't Nothing Nice.
Oh, okay. That's man, I'm going blank. That's one of my favorite tracks too. Hold that thought.
No. This is for our real hip hop heads in here. They gotta let us know what that Jay-Z song is. But
anyway,
I'm
gonna look it up right now.
This brother, while you look it up, I'm gonna tell him who you are. He was a mentor for me for years and still is. He's somebody that I go to when I want to know how to shoot certain things. He has an extensive record. He started out with Spike Lee, correct?
No, actually.
No. Before Spike Lee, there was something before Spike?
Yeah. I mean, I started out, I want to say that song is called Where I'm From, but I could be wrong.
That's what it is. I think it is Where I'm From.
Yeah, I worked on this movie called Death by Temptation. I would say that's my first movie that I just worked on.
Oh, that's the Eddie Murphy joint?
No. This is with Kadeem Hardison.
Kadeem Hardison, right.
Yeah, so I worked on that joint.
Right.
And, got my feet wet after getting out of film school.
Right.
But yeah, so that was the first joint, and then Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing with Spike Lee. Yeah. And then so he's responsible for a lot of Jay-Z's early catalog. Dead Presidents. He directed that.
Ain't No Streets Is What. I mean, we just keep going, but
yeah, the Streets is What.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take over. I've been in hip hop for so long. I worked with everybody, almost everybody. I didn't get to work with Super Lover C, but I'm sure we in the same circle. You know, I worked a lot with KRS-One, a lot of videos with Boogie Down Productions. Worked on the D Nice video. My name is D Nice. So I just keep going back and back. You know, I got to work with Kane actually on a video, actually a couple videos.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, I was just visiting, and Jay-Z was in the video, actually, the Big Daddy Kane video. We had already did the first Jay-Z video, and then we went over and did the Big Daddy Kane video in the projects. And then I got to work with Kane later on this Assorted Flavors music video. He came and did about 8 bars, 16 bars in that video. And he was the coolest cat too, actually. I always thought he was going to be mean. I was like, oh, he's going to be mean.
Kane?
Yeah, but he was like the nicest dude. Yeah, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. That's good. I wanted to warm them up a little bit. So this is what we did. So tonight we had the Naughty by Nature show, giving them their flowers, you know, talking about their accolades, all the substantial amount of great music that they put out, music videos, the anthems. They just, to me, was a great breakout group. I think one of the problems that they always faced back then is people would kind of continuously say that they was more pop than hip hop. I think that's something that they kind of struggle with. What's your thoughts about that, C?
Did you say it was more pop than hip hop?
I think, you know, their records just were big records. Their records just crossed over so much. I don't think they was trying to be pop, but I think that their records were just so big that their audience just grew. Their music outgrew their general, I guess, their direct audience.
Definitely, I would agree with that. You know what I'm saying? It definitely was hip hop, and that was hip hop all the way. But you know, they were big records, easy to relate to. You know what I mean? And again, their message was there, where a lot of people can pull that in, and it crossed over and made it big.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say hip hop went pop. That's all.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
They still stayed hard though.
It still stayed hard. Exactly.
Yeah. So for those that's coming in the room right now, the room is filling up a little bit more. I want to shout a couple of people out. The one and only King V. Shout out to my brother King V in the building. Tyrone Grumler. I'm trying to get his right. I'm just say Tyrone. Peace, Tyrone. Wesley Z. Oh yeah, definitely. I appreciate the CISO joint was a good joint for me to do. But make sure y'all hit them like buttons, them hearts, to push our algorithms up on these lives so we can get more people to join. Because these stories are, you're hearing a lot of this stuff for the first time. Y'all are part of a unique group of people right now. Because this is stuff that you're gonna hear tonight that hasn't really been spoken about in years in the context that these brothers will bring some of these stories in, especially Abdul. If you guys don't know who he is, you need to Google him, go to his Instagram. I'm just gonna give y'all some tidbits, but y'all gotta do your homework. He did state property. The brother he had a deal with Lionsgate. Let me tell you how dope this guy is. I'm young, hungry, trying to get my 1-2 on, and he took a liking to me, and he said, "Look, I got the movie State Property that I'm doing with Dame Dash and all. And what year was that? State Property,
that
like 99,
2000.
2000.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Yo, I got the situation with Lionsgate. I'm gonna give you the situation to shoot all the behind the scenes, to do the behind the scenes for the DVD." I get to the set, they shooting the set. My brother throw me in the scene and everything. I was like, I was gassed because I've never been on the movie set at that point, but just to see him work, that was one of the first times I seen him work with this big crew of people. It was just like, being a young kid and somebody taking a liking to you, it just inspired me and motivated me for years. And he could tell you, every time we talk, I always thank him. For 30 years, yo, you're still my mentor, man, and I still love to work with him. But so so we didn't get a chance to do the film. I guess they did the film. My part got cut out, right? Which was cool. I ain't tripping. But so I never thought of nothing. I didn't think nothing about it. So I'm watching the movie, and in the credits, my brother gave me credit. He gave me credits in the credit, man. This is the type of brother he was to me. You know what I'm saying? And he's always been a solid guy from the day that I met him. He's always gave me some wisdom. I called him a couple of years ago because I'm working on my first film, and I'm like, "Yo, man, how should I shoot this?" He was like, "Well, you know about blocking?" I'm like, "What's blocking?" He had to give me a crash course in blocking because I'm shooting the next day. And I'm like, "Okay." So when it came out, I said, "Did I do all right?" He said, "Yeah, you did your thing." So, he's very, 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 y'all got any questions for him? Y'all need to look him up and ask some questions tonight because he doesn't do this very, very often. Super Lover C, I see you guys left a lot of comments about Super Lover C and Casanova Run in the comments of other videos. I suggest y'all ask them tonight. But tell us about how you started working with Abdul, how you worked with Naughty by Nature on O.P.P. How did that happen?
Okay, yeah. So I would say back in the day, there was like a film community. A lot of young up and coming Black filmmakers got together, started a company called Shoot Till You Drop Films.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they did. They just did those 18, 20-hour days, doing a lot of music videos. Phil Maylard owned the company. And I used to work with them as a producer. I used to do sound for them. I wanted to direct, but I didn't get to that point with them at that time. So I remember the track for O.P.P. came in. Rod Houston from Tommy Boy had brought it by and was like, "We need to write a concept for this video." And we could not think of a concept. And first of all, we couldn't even figure out what O.P.P. was. Like, everyone was making jokes about it. in the office. We kind of knew what it was, but we were trying to come up with the clean version of it.
Right.
And so I just know they were throwing around different ideas. And then eventually they hired me as the producer, and Marcus Rayboy, he was the director. And we just decided to it wasn't a freestyle video because it was organized, but there was no crazy story or anything like that. We were just like, let's just introduce this band with some fly visuals and showcase Tretch as the new, up and coming superstar that he is now. So we shot some stuff in Jersey, like at a motel, like real quick cutaways and stuff like that outside the motel when he knocks on the door. And then we shot most of it in Long Island City, at a studio in Long Island City.
Really?
We had the whole set with the fence and the crowd and them on stage. And it was just like showing his swag, showing the Naughty by Nature swag, and just a couple of cutaways of some cuties and all that stuff. But it was more of a performance video than anything else. But yeah, that was the introduction, and we couldn't really figure out what to do at first. I just remember like a lot of ideas were coming through.
Right.
We landed on that.
What I mean, listening to the lyrics, it seems to me today, 2022, is like to me it just seems like, yeah, we could get right to the point because what he was talking about.
Right.
But the video was a dope video. It really brought out the group. That song was a great song because everybody kind of fell in love with the Michael Jackson sample, and Tretch was ill with the lyrics. His lyrics was phenomenal, and then they just had this look that people always kind of, and y'all captured that really well because it really made people interested in the group. I think that video was like nonstop on Video Music Box.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it was all them. Like that was their style. I mean, you had mentioned West Coast, but I never thought they were West Coast. I always felt they were definitely East Coast.
Their look was West Coast.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. On
nobody in New York was really wearing, shirts button up to the neck, dog chains, jail suits on. That was more like a West Coast thing, for us. And then the hat, somebody said in the comments, the hat that you tie, like they had the little hat that you took, like with the tie at the top. So yeah, they was definitely a great group. See, what's your take on the video, man?
Well, the video was awesome, man. I mean, it did what it did, and it brought the group out. I mean, like you say, the whole look, the visual,
right?
It just hit the point, man. The video was awesome. It did what it was supposed to do. Absolutely.
So, what was it like working with Tretch back then? Was he cool? Was he, arrogant? Was he easy to work with?
He was easy to work with, and I actually ran into them years later, like I guess decades later, and I was like, it was something for BT, and I was like, oh, I got some footage of the shoot. I don't have it prepared to show you right now because it's lost somewhere on tape, but I managed to get them a copy of it. But yeah, no, I was always honored to work with these artists who are hot when they come out, but when you're doing their first video, they're really not all arrogant because they haven't done anything. If the song goes number one, that's different. But when they first start out, I've never really worked with anybody who was just on that bullshit like so early in the game,
right?
Because then that would just kill their career. Because keep in mind, we're helping create you,
right?
We're helping your persona get put on film. So if we don't like you, we might not do a good job. So that's something to take in consideration. Any artist who's working with other artists, because we're artists. So if you keep messing with us, we're just gonna be like, all right, let's just give them that extra bullshit and go home. But everybody put in that 20-hour day for that video.
Definitely. I want to shout out a few people right now in the room. T-Rux, what's happening? He said, man, we need a documentary on Flavor Unit, Lakim Shabazz and Apache, rest in peace. What was it called? Tyrone said, what was it called? We kind of light tonight. Last week we was rocking. We was rocking last week. But yeah, I mean, what else did somebody had Def Rocker said their music had a commercial sound opposed to a boom bap sound. And that's true because a lot of New York New Jersey, the whole tri-state area had them hard drums and those hard kicks and those hard beat. You know, with I guess KG being that type of producer, because we seen what he did after he left. He made that stuff more melodic, more musically sound, uh, more sing along type of records, opposed to like the KRS One, the Muddy, Rakim, the hard beats like Marley was doing. What's your thoughts on that, Super Lover C, as far as their sound?
Well, the fact that they use, Michael Jackson, the ABC, which was a pop record, you know what I mean?
Right, right,
That kind of explains it all. It went pop because it was a familiar, a big pop familiar track
right,
from way back in the days. I mean, how many people, you know what I mean, couldn't relate to that? You're actually going to
right,
hit age groups with that, using that sample. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah. So that definitely hit the point there. Um, but yeah, that's what I believe really make it like kind of cross over to the pop side, because of the fact that they use a pop record that was so familiar through different age groups.
Yeah, for sure. And now that music transcended from generation to generation on through the '90s. That was like a '70s record, I believe, and it just kind of, and that was the style of music anyway. It was a lot of sampling back then, like your record, "Do the James,"
Mm-hmm.
that had a lot of the impeach the president and the other different samples that was in it. Um, why do you think Naughty by Nature was successful, Abdul? Like, what do you think was the one of the main components to make them go from that first record to garnishing that audience to kind of crossing over? What do you think was some of the components that helped them do that?
Well, I mean, no disrespect to Vinny, but Tretch was a sex symbol. So that's the
Mm,
first thing. That's the first thing. He came out as a sex symbol. As you see, he was doing cameos in other people's videos as like the dude.
right,
Um, and what was that? What a man, what a man. No, Salt and Pepper,
right,
a body like Tretch. So it's sort of like he was a sex symbol, but also the music was hot. And he had his own style. He was like a combination between like KRS-One and Tupac, because he would throw in that Jamaican patois into the song, which just made it extra hot to me anyway. So he
yeah,
always had his own specific style, and then he had the braids. So he was crafting his own persona that was just slightly different than everyone else.
right,
And he had the fast rapping. He just had his style. Like he has a definite style, and the songs were hot. And the crew was hot too. The videos were hot, so they were just winning. And I do feel like it was hip hop, but it was pop, but it was still hip hop.
right,
And it
right.
just went pop because it got popular, because that's
That's
all
it.
pop means. So
And what's your thoughts, C? What do you think are the things, the components that made them successful? Because your records was out when their records was out at the same time, right?
Yeah. Um, yeah, we did. Our first release, it was in '87, and then after that, I think they kind of dropped as we were kind of diminishing.
Oh, they
And
hit more like 90, 91, right?
'91, yeah,
Right, got you. So,
yeah, they
what
were
do
out
you
in
think?
'91, but yeah, just as we were kind of fading out, boom, they came right in, like you say, that sex symbol. I mean, he pretty much hit all the points, man. It was just, they had all the combination of everything that made, Naughty by Nature, Naughty by Nature. All the components were there, and they just hit it hard, man. And when that O.P.P came out, I mean, it was perfect. It was the perfect track, the perfect time, and everything after that just, you know, made those guys catapult to where they are today.
Right, right. But another big component that they had that we don't talk about is Queen Latifah. Because Queen Latifah gave them the stamp, and she was also in that video, the O.P.P video. I remember her being in the crowd with and then, and the cool thing that they did that made that video cool is they also had other people saying the hook in the video, which probably was like one of the first times you kind of seen that many cameos of different artists in one video. That was unique at that time as well, because I remember seeing Nikki D, like, me. And I think then they kind of carried that same swag into the other songs as well. Because I don't remember Run DMC being in a record. I don't know if it was Uptown Anthem or Hip Hop Hooray. Might have been Hip Hop Hooray. But those songs, like some of my favorite records with Naughty by Nature, is I love Ghetto Bastard. You know, that's one of my favorite records. That's what really made me like Tretch and Naughty by Nature. That video and that song, Ghetto Bastard, was the one for me. O.P.P was cool because it was my college days. We was up in the dorms. Everybody had the O.P.P stickers on their dorm room door. You know, we was rocking out like that. But what's your favorite Naughty by Nature record outside of the video that you did, Abdul?
It'll always be O.P.P. It'll always be O.P.P. It was a near perfect song. I don't want to say it's perfect, but it was perfect. It was a perfect hip hop song.
Right.
And it came out at the best time, and it was the great video that introduced them. And it's hard to beat. It's really hard to beat this particular song. It hit all the right notes.
Right.
It talked about sex. It talked about, it was funny. It was campy, but it was sexy. He just got everything, and it was a little hard too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, with his little moves and his braids and his, I guess we call it the West Coast jail outfit. It just hit all the right notes. You know what I mean? Right. And like I said, he had that little Jamaican kind of swag to his voice.
Yeah, he had that rapid fire flow, which made Tretch stand out. But he also had lyrics. And just the flow, he really could rap. You know, his style, his words, how he put things together. Tretch was very underrated at that time. And I believe it's because you had people like Rakim, like Big Daddy Kane, like KRS-One was so lyrical in their flow and their delivery and punchline. It was hard for people to break into that nucleus. Like it was like they had their own, and then everybody else would kind of fall. Is that how you felt, Super Lover C? Like as far as lyricism's concerned at that time in that era? Like was it hard to kind of get on the Cool G rap, KRS-One, Slick Rick, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane,
yeah, like they say, it's calibers
right.
to this shit, right? So
right.
You have a lot of different categories of rappers, and you know, like myself, Tretch, we didn't fall into the categories of the hard street rap. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was a little different. It was more poppy what we did, you know. And Tretch was definitely poppy, but did he have bars and lyrics? Of course. I mean, he had bars, he had some lyrics. And if he didn't, you know, it wouldn't have been a hit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I definitely give him respect for that, man. You know, the lyrics were crazy, the tracks was crazy. But it wasn't KRS-One, it wasn't Rakim, it wasn't Big Daddy Kane. You know, those guys had their own, you know, their own style, and he was just a different style. It was just more poppy track.
Yeah, for sure. But his flow was phenomenal. You know, let me go to some of the comments in the room. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We need to get them likes up. So we got enough people in the room to at least get 20 likes. Let's do that, y'all. Do us a favor, hit that like button. If you feel like you want to ask some questions, you want to contribute or donate to the show, hit that super chat or the sticker, or you can hit the Cash App. That'll always work. Now, there's a couple of questions in here for you, Super Lover C, and one is Super Lover C's Girls I Got 'Em Locked was my joint as a teenager. Definitely helped a brother grow my swag. Salute. That's from Mr. Baldwin. You know, do you get a lot of people that always talk to you about that record and the time in their life?
Girls That Got 'Em Locked, of course, man. Girls That Got 'Em Locked. I hear a lot about that one. A lot about Super Casanova. You know, and then the late Romeo, and you know, of course, My Baby Due to James. You know, that was the party track. Yeah.
Right. And Abdul, what did you think of Super Lover C and Casanova Run?
I thought there were some cool brothers with the flat tops. You know what I mean? uh, that's what I remember the most. They were just kind of cool and smooth.
Right.
I mean, you guys were down with Kane, right?
We were cool with Kane. We weren't down with Kane.
I just always felt like you were in the camp with Kane for some reason, and it might just have been the dancing styles and the
Yeah,
flat tops.
it
Right.
was the interesting thing about us is that we weren't really in anybody's camp.
Okay.
And I don't know if that helped us or hurt us, but you know, now when I look at it, like, wow, you know, that might have hurt us. You know what I mean? So we weren't really down with anybody's particular camp. Although we were from the hometown of like the Disco Twins and the Disco Brothers and those guys, we really weren't down with, you know, with them. You know, we didn't, you know, so we kind of emerged out of nowhere, because we didn't really let people know what we were doing. The next thing you know, we were on the radio. But yeah, we weren't really down with anybody's camp. Those are all my brothers, though, man. You know,
Right.
ain't much respect to them.
What label were you guys on again?
Wow. Ooh, okay. The first label was City Beat.
Okay.
Which was an independent. After City Beat, it went to DNA International. No, I'm sorry. After City Beat, we got picked up by Polygram with the Do the James single. After Polygram, DNA International, Electro Records.
Okay.
After Electro Records, it was Sony and then Wild Pitch EMI. So we went on. We were signed to a couple of good labels.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, you know, one of the things about signing all those labels, I think a lot of the music gets lost in translation. I want to go to a couple of more questions because there's some people asking some questions in here, and I'd like to do that. So Lisa Hardy, she said she's so proud of her neighbor back in the day, Super Lover C, part of hip hop history. So salute to you, Lisa, for even acknowledging and showing us some love. Def Rocker, does anybody know what was the YZ and Naughty beef about? I don't know about the Naughty beef. I don't know about the Naughty beef at all.
I didn't know there was one.
That's one that maybe my later guest that comes in later may be able to tell me. He might know something about that. I know he knows a lot about, you know, when Naughty by Nature's name was, what was their name when they first started? It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember their first name before they became Naughty by Nature. They was called anybody in the chat. They know Naughty by Nature's name. Type it in the chat because I forgot it. But my man Ruck said Tretch Flow is underrated. They were the first to really merchandise their brand, which is true. They were the first group to kind of, you know, merchandise that Naughty by Nature gear. Yeah, they were. They definitely were the first to do that because it was like Carl Kanai, Fubu, April Walker, and then you seen Naughty gear, and they definitely did that thing. Someone said
it says the new style.
Huh? New style. That's what it was.
New style.
That's what it was. Someone asked, I think they asked the question, said Abdul is one of the best music video directors of all time. Abdul and Hype Williams are the top directors.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Man, this guy got so much history. I don't even, you know, like, you know, if you want to share some stuff with them, but I know Super Lover C had didn't you have a story about you and Naughty by Nature? Or a show, something you had told me about?
Yeah, we did a couple of shows. We shared a stage a couple of times.
Yeah, what was that like? And what records did they have out at that time? Do you remember?
That was the O.P.P record.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, we were fading out as they were coming in, and they hit at the time was O.P.P. But I mean, you're talking about watching a crowd just go nuts when they come on, man. That's what it was like. And I remember those. I remember those days, and they got a much bigger response than I did. Hey, but it is, but I tell you, but it was a hot record, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Definitely what
Well,
happened.
one of the big records that I always like, coming up, I would be at like the Knicks games, and when they did that hip hop parade, just everybody would go crazy over those records, man. The hip hop parade. I also like Uptown Anthem. Uptown Anthem was a fly record too. Very up tempo. The beat was dope. The lyrics was hot. And I think that might have been the first record they introduced Vinny, if I'm not mistaken. Uptown Anthem was the first one he kind of rapped on, I believe. Oh, excuse me. I always thought he looked like Mike Tyson back in the day for some reason. Am I the only one that thought Vinny looked like Mike Tyson?
No, you're not.
He kind of reminds me of a Mike Tyson back then.
You're not the only one.
Okay. So I was, I'm not surprised that Naughty by Nature had such a great career in some of the groups and things that they did back then. I look at Tretch. Remember how Tretch used to wear his hair in the braids and have them coming down now? And you notice now with 2022, and most of the rappers, they ain't wearing them back in cornrows no more. They're wearing them basically how Tretch had the box braids. So they're splitting them and they're wearing them down. So I'm just like, wow. And I saw a picture of Pop Smoke the other day, and I seen a picture of Tretch when he was younger, and I was like, wow, they kind of like look like they could be related or something like that. So it's just ill that a lot of stuff and music or styles, how they all come back. How a lot of this stuff just resurfaces again. Did y'all notice that kind of stuff, like with hip hop over the last couple of years?
I mean, I welcome it to come back because what was going on a few years ago was trash, but not all of it, but just the stuff that was pushed up to the top. But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, and some people just stay consistent. Like Pusha T, he stays consistent.
Right.
With his music and his look. Like he's got the braids, he ain't cut them joints off in years. And he just stays consistently on his grind. So I always appreciate artists who do that as well.
Right.
But a lot of the stuff is maybe the look comes back, but the sound, you got to look for that real hip hop sound.
Sound changes, but the look always comes back.
Yeah.
The look always comes back. There's like they say, nothing new under the sun, right? So it just recycles.
Right.
I wonder what groups, in your opinion, someone said YZ had a video called Return of the Holy One. He alluded to Naughty. Okay, so that's what the beef was over. YZ and the Naughty by Nature beef. YZ had a video called Return of the Holy One. And I guess they caught some kind of riffing with it. But one of the ill stories about Naughty by Nature when it came to some kind of beef was, did y'all hear about the Jermaine Dupri and Criss Cross? Because if you notice, when Naughty by Nature came out, they had their style and it was kind of fast. And then Criss Cross, Jermaine Dupri had Criss Cross. And they looked just like a young Naughty by Nature with the braids, rapping the same movements. It was just wow. I thought they were part of Naughty by Nature when they first came out. Did anybody feel that way?
No.
No? Okay, I guess I was the only one.
Not at all.
Rob, thank you for the chat. And if you got any questions, please post them. Post your question.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead. I'm sorry about you. I'm just reading some of these.
Okay.
Questions.
What was the question?
I was saying about my question was, did anybody think Criss Cross had anything to do with Naughty by Nature? Because they look just like him.
No, I just always felt they were biting the style,
right?
And the look and the sound. That was it.
Okay.
I saw no connection.
Yeah. None.
I didn't think.
Yeah. Not at all.
I want to read out this comment. He gave us a nice super chat. Shout out to let me make sure. Blow Range Tears for the love. Yo, it's Uncle Freeze from Blow Range Tears. Salute OG Super Lover C, one of my all-time favorites. Great content. We salute you, appreciate you. Where you from? Let us know what city and state you from so we could address y'all properly. If y'all want to contribute to the show, make sure y'all hit the super chat. Anybody got any questions that they want to ask Abdul, Malik Abbott? Because I'm telling y'all, this is a rarity. This is a rarity that y'all gonna, be able. Well, I'm just happy I know the brother. And secondly, could I tell him that we possibly gonna do this documentary?
You can tell him. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Yeah, so I'm gonna come to LA and we actually gonna shoot this documentary. G Rock, straight from Compton, California. Cali in the building. I appreciate Compton being out here. Larange, I'm hoping I'm saying Blow Range Tears. Appreciate you. Here's another question for Super Lover C. Did you see that, C?
Yes.
Super Lover C, which record label was most successful in your career and you enjoyed the most?
Which record label?
Right.
That would be Elektra. Now, Elektra.
And why is that?
Well, it was a major.
Right.
Okay. We definitely. It was an album. It was an album deal. Yeah. So it wasn't just a single deal, and most of the other deals were just single deals. The album actually had the opportunity, to reach our fans, and we actually had the opportunity for our fans to see more than just the Do the James and Girls That Got Them Locked. Because there's a lot of album that a lot of people that really know the album will make a lot of comments about. And you'd be surprised, some of the ones that are not big names out there, like Do the James, Casanova, and Girls That Got Them Locked. I get a lot of comments on there. That one song that you did, Come Get Some was crazy. You know what I mean? Or Pump It Back. Which we talked about, right, Craze?
Right. You did I guess it's the response to Push It.
Push It. Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody made a mention to that last week too. And shout out to Casanova Rudd. Normally I would see him in the comments. Maybe he a little busy tonight. Maybe he'll tune back in. Who knows? But yeah, y'all been getting a lot of questions when you're not here that I'm just like, yo, when C get on, y'all can ask him. Y'all just gotta tune in every week. So Abdul, quick question. What do you think was the best, most gratifying project that you worked on? Because you worked on so much. Like I mentioned earlier, for those that don't know, this is the brother that I don't want to say started out, but he did a lot of work for Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt album. He did a lot of the music videos, Dead Presidents, Streets is Watching. Like, tell me, how did y'all come up with the idea to do the Streets is Watching? Because at that time, the only long form video was Michael Jackson's Thriller. You guys just took it on the hip hop level. Whose idea was that? Tell me about working at that time with Jay and Dame and that whole time being there.
Okay. Yeah. So apparently, Streets is Watching came about, and it was actually called something else. I think we had a lot of different titles, but I'll just say Streets is Watching just to save the confusion. But I think it was Shaka Pilgrim's idea. Shaka Pilgrim worked at Rockefeller as an exec, and it was her idea to come up with this long form music video that was going to counterbalance the pop video that Jay had put out with Babyface and Foxy Brown for Sunshine. So he had like this crazy pop video and people were hating on it. So they decided, you know what, we're going to do something real street with no pop imagery, no shiny suits, none of that. So that's how it came about. And I just remember getting a call from Damon and he's like, oh, come out to Jersey. He was living in Jersey at the time. And I want to do this long form video. So I went to Jersey, got in his Benz. We just drove around. He just played every single track, and every single track was hotter than the next track. And he was like, okay, so these are going to be on the album, but we're not going to promote them as singles. We're going to promote them as one big project, which is a risk actually to not really promote them. So out of that whole bunch of singles from that album, couple of albums actually, Reasonable Doubt and In My Lifetime Volume 1, we were going to focus on Streets is Watching as a single. So that was the only one that was going to be released.
Right.
So basically, we just got all the songs and decided what's going to be the storyline that's going to go through this piece. Now, you know, we were all young, so we weren't like the best writers, so we didn't really write, okay, this is going to be the plot point right here, and it's going to turn here. We're going to have no, we were just doing skits. So it was most like a video album where you have skits in between the songs.
Got you. So it was the video, and then, so what made them choose you to do that particular project? Because you worked with J&M on a couple of things. And let me say this, the things that you worked on him with was very monumental.
Right. So I hope it was the fact that I was good. You know, I'll just go with that. So by then I had already did I Can't Get With That. It was his first music video. Then we did In My Lifetime remix, Ain't No Nigga, and Dead Presidents. Ain't No Nigga went #1, and Dead Presidents went #1. So I'm hoping I'm coming with some cachet on my back to like, well, I just did 2 #1 videos for you guys. So hopefully, you know, you give me a shot on this long form. So the long form that they did, that was the pop video that they needed to clean up to get his street cred back, was, you know, Hype Williams. And he did a good job, but it was not Jay-Z's style. So I guess I was
back to the grit.
I guess they wanted to go back to the streets. And that was me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And what was it like working with Jay-Z and Dame Dash at that time? How were they as just people?
I mean, as just people, that's kind of a hard way to put it. But
you know, I mean,
Jay is always professional. That was the key to our relationship being so solid. It was like I always thought he was quiet, and I thought I was quiet. I always thought he was more quiet than I am, and I'm like, well, but that's Jay. his words, when he talks, that's money just flying out his mouth. So maybe he was just keeping it professional, but he was always very professional, and that was always like the key to our relationship moving forward and getting the job done. He was there to get the job done. Damon was Damon, so those who know. But he also had.
But Dame was loud back then, like he is now.
He was loud, but he was more funny than anything else. He wasn't as rah-rah as he came to be later on, but he was just more funny. I mean, Damon was a great guy, actually. He was a funny guy. We were friends, and he was like the jokester though. Like he would be telling jokes and loud. You know, if you walk into a room, you're gonna get cut up real quick, so you got to be prepared. But there was 2 different levels of Jay. It was Jay when he's with his boys and his crew, and then there's Jay when he's working.
Right.
And when he's working, he's mad serious and wants to get shit done. And he'll ask questions. He wants to know how the scene's gonna go. And when we did Imaginary Player, he was like, I want to co-direct this scene. So he was right there next to me when we were doing all of those skits inside of the bar with Pain in the Ass and the other comedians, Chris. Right. He was right there trying to co-direct it. And
so where did y'all shoot most of that stuff at?
Man, that was all over the place. We were in Jersey, Manhattan, downtown Manhattan, Brooklyn. We had shot that Imaginary Player in that club in Chelsea. I always try to shoot near my house so I can just go home. It was the same club that Big Pun had shot. What was it called? Something about being a player. But it was the same club right there on 20th between 10th.
The one that he had with Joe.
Yeah.
With Joe.
So it was that was that club. It's closed down now. That whole area is all changed.
Right.
We shot Jay on the roof, literally around the corner from my house on 19th Street, in 10th Avenue, 9th and 10th. So we were all over the place with that with that joint.
Now, Soup, did you ever have any interaction with Jay-Z or Dame Dash during your career? You know, early part of your career?
Not Dame Dash. Ran into Jay-Z a couple of times at some of the clubs. But other than that, you know, it was always respect. You know, what's up? Like he said, Jay-Z's real quiet. They don't say much. So it was what's up, and we kept moving, man. But yes, I ran into him a few times.
Yeah, I got some crazy Dame Dash stories that just me and Dame. I ended up getting cool with Dame back in like '97 when they was on John Street. They was just moving from John Street. They was packing up, and I had worked on this documentary called Street Poetry, and it was all about music cats. And but it wasn't really about music. It was about their everyday life, them being fathers and parents. It was crazy different. So they had something called the Urban World Film Festival. It was the very first year that they ever had this. So me, I'm so green, meaning young and don't know nothing. I'm like, all right, let me send my $25 in and send my tape in. And they're just gonna put me in the film festival. I didn't know that you really don't make it if you send your money. I never even thought like that. So I get the call saying, "Hey, we accepted your film in the film festival." So all these people around me that kind of did film was like, "Yo, that ain't normal, man. Everybody don't just get their film in the film festival the first time." I'm like, "Well, I gave them my $25, so this is how I'm thinking now, right?" And so I meet Dave, my man. Damn, his name I can't remember his name, but he introduced me to Dame Dash, and I sat with Dame for about 2 hours, interviewed him in '98 about everything. I still got all the footage now, and Dame was when I tell you the guy was so cool, he was super cool, like super cool, attentive. He wasn't rushing me or nothing. He wasn't arrogant or anything. And so from there, I do this film, and I know this show ain't about me, but I'm gonna tell the story anyway because I hardly ever tell people anything about some of my progress and things that I went through to get to where I'm at today. This man has a big part of that early in my career because somebody like Abdul, you got to understand, like it's like you being a rapper that's for the first time going into the studio, and he is Jay-Z. He has the #1 album out, and he says, "Yo, I rock with you," and that's how Abdul was. But anyway, getting back to the situation with Dame Dash, I put the film in the film festival. They give me the last slot of the night. Like everybody's film was at 1, 2, mine's is at 11:30. So you think everybody going home. So I'm like, dang, I'm gonna go to an empty damn theater. When I walked into this theater, man, my theater was I mean, that's the most high. My theater was packed. When I tell you so, I get this standing ovation at the end. I do this documentary, like I said, I never put it out on the internet or nothing, but and then I get all these letters from different distributors. MTV offered me situations. I didn't know nothing about cassette and release forms back then. I'm just filming. So now I go back to all these artists like, listen, I got a situation with MTV. I need you to sign off on this. Nobody signed the paperwork.
Wow.
Nobody. But what it was is it was how I was telling them. Nobody wants to be left out. So I should have said, you sign the paperwork, and when I receive the budget, let's just put it on the paperwork that I have to, compensate you. I didn't really know business back then, but I do know it now. But that's my Dame Dash story. I got a story about Jay-Z, but I'll save that for my own biopic. So yes, we coming up on an hour. I want to thank my guest tonight, Super Lover C, my host, of giving them their flowers. Come on every Monday at 7 p.m. Abdul Malik Abbott, one of the greatest guys that I've met in my career. We have a relationship, a friendship that spans over 25 years. I was a young duckling in the puddle back then, just learning how to swim, you know. And I seen him do great things. He involved me in a lot of the music video. Matter of fact, the Saigon and Trey Songz music video.
Right.
He invited me to that. I filmed all the behind the scenes to that. And I used to just keep you relevant in my world when I was doing all the DVD stuff. So it was like, all right, you come in here, and shout out to Dale Resca. I forgot his last name, Rescalini.
Yeah, something like that.
Right. He used to invite me to a lot of stuff too, where I got a lot of my behind the scenes, up and close footage. But Abdul, salute to you. We're gonna get to that documentary. Anybody got any more questions? Because we're getting ready to close it out. We're coming out on an hour, and I don't want to keep everybody too long. I know everybody got things to do. So I'm gonna read a couple of more questions before we get out of here, and we shut it down in about 2 minutes. All right, fellas?
No problem.
Let's see what. So Gene Butler said Abdul did a lot of classic videos for The Rock. I wish he did all the videos.
Thank you. Me too.
Shout out to you. So people do know about you, bro.
I appreciate it. I'm a humble person, so I appreciate it.
I know you are. And that Vibes and Stuff said that's dope. What did he say here? Super Lover C, how does it feel to be one of the most underrated lyricists of the golden era? That's Vibes and Stuff. I'll put that up there for you. So Vibe, you gotta hit me with that Cash App though, man. You got a lot of questions in here, and if we want to grow, this is how we grow. You know, this is the fact. Fact though, I'm gonna show love though. I'm gonna show love, but go ahead, answer that question. I'm gonna try to get to some other questions, and then we're gonna get out of here.
You know, that's a hard it's a hard answer. How do I feel about it?
Is that a backhanded compliment?
but I have to say this though.
Do you feel like you're underrated though? Did you feel during your career like people didn't really pay as much to your lyricism as you wanted them to? Do you feel it was like underrated, like they're saying?
I mean, I've heard some things, I think a lot of us go through that where it's like, you got this first one, but what's going to happen on number two?
Right.
Okay, so number two was nice. We're going to happen on number three. And then you come up with an album. And then it's like, okay, wow, that was that's a classic hip hop album.
Right.
But the more I hear that I'm underrated, it's actually giving me my props. I'm getting my flowers when I hear that. So Much respect. All right. Much respect to those who asked that question.
Right.
Actually, I got a question. So see, who is your favorite underrated hip hop artist?
My favorite.
I'm gonna ask you the same question too.
Oh man.
It could be an artist or a band or group, hip hop.
That's a tough one.
It is.
It's a tough one because there was a lot of artists that I've come across that I knew, and wow, that's a tough one. I can't answer that for you right now.
Well, I have a question for both of y'all.
Okay.
Since we asking questions, Abdul, I'm gonna start with you first, and Super Lover C, after he's done, you can answer the same question. Who was the biggest one-hit wonder in hip hop, in your opinion, and why?
Oh shit!
And anybody in the chat, let me know who you think is the biggest.
Diggable Planets. Because
Hmm.
they were cool. No pun intended. They were cool, but they never had a follow-up hit.
Do you know why?
I think it might have been a fad more than anything else.
No. I'm gonna tell you why. I just had this conversation off camera with Fly Ty, and he miraculous. It's funny we talk about it now, but Fly Ty told me that didn't they win a Grammy?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, they won a Grammy.
Yeah.
And the night they won the Grammy, according to Fly Ty, shout out to Unc. Fly Ty is the founder of Cold Chillin' Records, Big Daddy Kane, Roxanne Shante, Biz Markie, Coogee Rap, Juice Crew. Just so for some of those that don't know, make sure y'all hit them like buttons. We giving you some real juice right now. So according to Ty, he said that when Diggable Planets, one of the guys that when they got the actual award and he did his speech, he said, now you know who the real devils. He said, make sure y'all watch out for the real devils. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, they were dropped off the label.
I remember
the
that.
next day.
I remember that.
The next day.
Okay.
And I just had this conversation, so I didn't even know you was gonna say that. We just had this conversation like 2 days ago.
Well, I want to say my most underrated hip hop group, which I wish would have blew up, was All City.
All City with Wyclef's group?
No, All City was under, I want to say, well, they were on MCA and then they were on Geffen. And they were under Onyx's label.
JMJ?
I don't know if it was JMJ.
Oh, under Onyx own label.
Yeah.
Onyx label. Gotcha.
Yeah. And I did like 3 videos for them, and that songs were hot. One was produced by Clark Kent, one was produced by what's his name from I can't remember his name just because I'm brain farting, but who's a hot, give me a hot DJ real quick who's been doing the boom back sound.
Oh, the DJ Premier?
Yep. That was funny that you would know that right away. Yeah. Premier did a track. They were super hot and they just did not blow up. And when we did the first video we did was number 1 video, like right out the box. It was number 1. And then they switched labels. They went from Geffen to MCA, and then the ball got dropped.
Right.
The funny thing with one-hit wonders is most of the time when you talk to groups or individual artists, they'll tell you there's a story behind why they only had 1 hit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's always something that happened in the background. So, if it's a group, it could have been something with the group, could have been something with the label, could have been something, you know what I'm saying? But most of the time when you ask a question like, whatever happened, there's a story behind it.
Right. And a lot of those stories are now that we're talking, we can have a little bit of open conversation, but I want to bring up Craig Mack, because a lot of people think Craig Mack was a one-hit wonder, but he had one of the biggest records still to this day. Like, I think he got nominated for a Grammy. He didn't win, but I think he got nominated for one. I think he also got nominated for American Music Awards. And I know he was Best Artist of the Year in '95 for the Source Awards.
Right.
What was the song that he was nominated?
It was Flavor in Your Ear.
Yeah.
Flavor in Your Ear. But I heard people say he was a one-hit wonder. I'm like, how was he a one-hit wonder when he went double platinum? And he had an album.
What was the other hit though?
Well, he had the remix to Flavor in Your Ear, right? I believe he also had the song "Get Down" with Diddy.
Get Down was hot.
Right. Yeah, and then he had "Get Down." What was the other one? "Get Down," and then it was another single that they released on there.
Wasn't it like 2 videos for Flavor in Your Ear?
It was a remix video and the regular video.
Right.
I actually have the behind the scenes of the remix video because I was there. Me and Craig grew up together, and I was actually running around with them at that time. That's the matter of fact. That ain't the first time I met Big, but that was the first time I was introduced to Biggie, and we kicked it a little bit outside.
That's funny. Yeah, I was on the set of the first video. So we shot it over in Queens at the old whatever with that big dome or whatever.
That's the other one. Making Moves with Puff. That's it. Making Moves with Puff.
Okay.
Dope. That's dope.
Gotta get the cash. Gotta get the dough.
You got a story about Big Super?
Big?
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I was at the tunnel.
Oh, I got a funny story about Biggie.
And by that time when Big was out, I wasn't really making any music at the time, but I'm walking through the tunnel, and they were performing that night, and we kind of just walked right by each other, and he was with his whole team, and he looked at me, he said, "Soup, respect." Back. And we just kept it moving. We were passing each other, going in opposite directions.
Nice.
Yes.
Right. Well, my funny. You got a big story, Abdul? I got a funny one.
I mean, I don't know if it's funny, but all I know is he was notoriously late a lot. So he was in 2 videos. So I got to direct him twice in 2 different Jay-Z videos. So the first one.
By the way, I love that shot at the end when they was all toasting.
Yeah,
that's classic. That's classic.
That was that one.
Classic.
Jay would not do that scene without him. So
Right.
I don't even know who was in charge of putting people at that table, but we
Mhm.
could not shoot that scene without Biggie.
Right.
And then when we shot in Miami for the Ain't No video, he was like just sleeping, and we just had to wait for him to show up and do his cameo with Foxy and a bunch of people at the one of those little bars on Miami on the strip. But yeah, I mean, my story with Biggie, he was just a funny dude. Like he was like, if you walk up to him and he's around a lot of people, he just starts making jokes.
Right.
Like his persona as like a tough guy, I never really saw it. I just saw him. He was just like a really funny, friendly person.
Right.
He was easy to direct too.
So I think the very first time I met Big, and I met him a couple of times on a couple of occasions, because like I said, back at that time, matter of fact, you know, I got a whole bunch of Craig Mack stories because we all grew up together. And I remember the day of his album coming out, he didn't even have a car then. I was driving him home from somewhere. He was like, "Yeah, my album come out today." It was just so crazy to see how he went from that to like out of here. But anyway, my story with Big was I used to work for a public access channel in Long Island called Blacks in Action. Shout out to my man D Forrest. And we had went out to Manhattan to do you know how back then you could do the press days and stuff. So anyway, Big is sitting in this room and he's like, "Yo, we're gonna interview Biggie." So here I am. I come, I sit down, I'm kicking it to Big. So I guess the girl was like a stylist or something. I don't know who she was. So I just slide her out the way. Like, to stand next to Big. He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." He's like, "Yo, man, that's my people." You know? I'm like, he's like, "Nah, she gonna stay here. You move over here." So I ended up doing the interview with him, but it was cool. That was my first time meeting Big. And then I met him a couple of times. They had a boat ride. Diddy threw a boat ride in Long Island. It was this when he was doing the Big Mac promo, like Biggie and Craig Mack. He did a promo called Big Mac, and they did this boat ride. And I tell you the truth, it was so cold on that boat. Big, Diddy, Craig, we all just stayed under the boat, like on the bottom level of the boat. Nobody even went upstairs, you know. But and then when I was formally introduced to him was through my man Gene Nelson and Kenyon DJ 45 on the set of the remix video. That's when me and him sat and had some words for a few minutes. He was like, "Big, this is my man Craze." They call me JB around the way. This is JB, you know. And me and Big kicked it for a few minutes and told him that I liked this stuff. Reminded him about the video. Me doing the interview with him, he laughed about that, and you know, it was real cool. So, and I think I have a picture of me and Big too. So, yeah, that was my Big story. I gotta, you know, that was the biggest, what they consider one hit wonder. Um, they're talking about, okay, JVC Force. I don't think they was a one hit wonder. Shout to Kurt Gazelle, uh, AJ Rock. They did the Strong Island record, you know. Now y'all used to try to shut us out a lot of stuff too, all y'all borough cats used to act like Long Island was like Scotland.
No, but you got your props once PE really put you on the map.
Listen, 88, Long Island had a stronghold on hip hop. I just don't know what happened after that. It's like 88, it was like the floodgates came. It was Biz, it was PE, it was Eric B and Rakim, it was JVC Force, it was, I mean, the list goes on. De La Soul, I mean, LONS, not LONS, but yeah, Leaders of the New School, yeah. Leaders of the New School. I mean, just around that time, it was just group after group after group.
From Long Island? Leaders of the New
Yeah.
School?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, Buster and them, yeah, that LONS is from Long Island.
Wow.
Yeah. So Craig Mack, Long Island, Keith Murray, Long Island, you know, EPMD, can't forget my big brothers. So, you know, but I thank everybody for coming into the room. Like I said, I'm gonna just read a couple of more and then we're gonna get out of here. So Making Moves with Puff, rap groups Hard Knocks, Too Black, Too Strong. Y'all ever heard of those groups?
Yes. Two Black.
Really?
I know. Yeah.
Where they from? What song they had?
A lot of the cats were from back. They were a little early on too. Like I heard of those cats back when I was out there doing it, but I have no idea where they were from.
That's right, K Solo from Long Island.
K Solo, yeah, he's from Long Island too. Yeah.
Oh, we got a lot of them. We got a lot of us. It's a lot of us. Shout out to Strong Island. You know, but yeah. So they said one of the most slept on rappers was Charlie Brown from Leaders of the New School.
Yeah, Brown was nice.
Yeah, couple of cats. You know, back then it was all about the lyrics. I don't know how much of that stands today, but what do you think about working with artists today, Abdul? You know, the new artists. Are you interested in, you know, giving them a Abdul look?
I'm always open to work, man. I'm an artist. I want to always work. So as I can do I've done country music recently, so I'm open. Music is music. Art's art. Directing is directing. So I'm down. I'm open.
So you ready to do the new Super Lover C?
Yep. Let's make it happen.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's make it happen.
Make it happen.
So Abdul,
don't threaten it because we might have to really make it happen.
Yeah, we are. So Abdul, let me ask you this question: being such a creative director at the time and at the height when music videos was really about telling a story, and then you see how things kind of just got to like, okay, we're gonna shoot a scene in front of this car. We're gonna shoot a scene. How do you feel about the creative aspect of directing now? It's almost like they make it anybody could do it now.
Well, anybody can do it now. So there's directors like myself, the directors like yourself. Then there's the GWC. That's the guy with a camera. So that's the difference. There's people who work at the craft because it is a craft,
right?
And there's directors who have studied, put in the work, and there's people who just pick up an HD camera as long as it's in focus. They like, oh, I'm a director. I don't know. I don't think you're a director. You're a guy with a camera or a girl with a camera.
Right.
So yeah, when you start to see videos with stories, and that's really how I was trying to come up. I was always, if you look at the body of my work, I was trying to tell stories while everybody had the girls' asses in the camera in the cars.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to tell stories, and I think that kind of held me back. But I was trying to stick to my guns and like try to tell a story with each video. So you don't see a lot of videos I did that are exploitative videos because I like looking at girls too, but it really was not anything that's stuck because you can take those videos and mash them all together and they look like the same video.
Right. And so why don't you think, like, a lot of the names, and I'm just asking you this out of curiosity, but you had Chris Robinson, you have Hype Williams, you had Director X, all these guys, and yourself, right? And you was part of that whole, is it safe to say you was part of that whole group at that time?
I mean, yeah, we were all New Yorkers, all coming up and trying to work in this business. So yeah.
Right. And what's the dude? I think Tully, his last name was Colin Tilley.
Oh yeah, no, he came in a little later.
Right.
But yeah, so I never really knew him.
So my question to you is, why did some directors' name really get out there and then some really didn't? Like, was it hanging out with the artist type thing? What was the culture of that? Because I know, like, when you schmooze, if you're an artist and you schmoozing with certain people, and Super Lover C, you could jump in at any time. When you schmoozing with people, you get more things done and people think of you more. So why would like some people get more light than others?
That's a hard question to answer because each person's journey is different, but it also has to do with your representation and who's out there pushing you, who's your sales rep, which video.
So you actually had sales guys?
Yeah, we had sales reps. That would,
shoot, I didn't know that.
they'll solicit all the video commissioners to get videos. So there was a whole machine that goes behind it. So if you got a good machine, then you got a lot of work. And you obviously you have to be good. But if you got hit videos and a good sales rep and great relationships with the label reps, the video commissioners, you just keep working.
Yeah, I was about to ask that question.
Yeah, and if you got a DP that's hot and a colorist in the studio, because a lot of stuff was shot on film at the time.
Right.
If you got a hot DP, a hot stylist, and a colorist, you're good. You can just do one video after the next, after the next, after the next, and then you just start adding on to it. You got the hot stylist, boom.
Right.
You got a camp of hot girls, boom. You know, so it was a machine that was working.
Right.
And then Napster came along and squashed everything.
Napster?
Yeah. Once Napster hit, people stopped buying the music.
Oh, got you.
It changed everything.
Right.
It changed. Everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So you can blame Napster, everybody, for collapsing the music industry.
Right. So what was the most expensive music video you worked on?
Yeah.
Because at some point they was getting all these $1 million budgets. Did you ever get like a $1 million budget video? Like I know Hype Williams, it was alleged that the Busta Rhymes video was $1 million.
Right. No, I never had $1 million. I think the highest I did was like 200,000.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't at that. I mean, I didn't have $1 million concept, so luckily I didn't have, I didn't have to go through that. But I think it was. I mean, Streets is Watching was different because that was more videos, so that budget was higher. But I think it was Killer Priest. I did a video for Killer Priest, and we shot in Miami, and it was supposed to look like Jamaica, but we built sets, and we had a lot going on. It was for One Step, a video One Step. That was kind of a pricey video.
Interesting. And last question I wanted to ask you about state property. I keep saying street poetry. State property.
Right.
What was that your very first movie?
That was
directing. That was your debut.
Yeah, that was my feature debut.
And that's a classic right now.
Yeah, it's a classic. It was a rough one though. We'll have to do a whole nother video on that one. But that one was one of those projects where I have to pat myself on the back of just holding it down when a whole lot of craziness was going on.
Right.
But I always gotta give a shout out to Beanie Siegel, because he brought the heat, he brought the talent, and he was serious about that role. And that was his first, acting gig.
Right.
And ain't nobody gonna say that he was not a gangster in that movie.
No, they're not.
Because he was, and he continues to be so. So, but yeah, I always got to shout out Beanie and the rest of the crew who actually came through. But yeah, we'd have to do a whole nother segment on that.
Okay, so then we'll set that up for some time later on. Maybe when we get closer to doing the documentary, we could get you back on and do some of those, something like that. Well, we're going to get things going, guys. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming in and showing us some love. Frederick Blue said, what'd he say? Craze, have you heard of Rayvon and Johnny Wah? Nah. I have any of y'all heard of these people?
From where?
Tell us from where. Hit us up and let us know from where and what they do. Torrance Williams, Vibes and Stuff. S. Reynolds, appreciate you. Who else? Let me scroll up. Gene Butler, appreciate the questions and inquisitive, leaving us some details on some things that we talked about in here. Lorraine Tears, I appreciate you. Def Rocker, I'm just going through the thing, guys. G Rock, appreciate the super chats. Cool Kev, I remember you guys was heavy on rotation on Video Music Box. He talking about y'all, Super Lover C and Casanova Run. Naughty by Nature are the kings of the merch. Yes, they were at that time, for sure. shout out. They want to shout you out, Super Lover C. Abdul Malik Abbott, I want to thank you for coming in and sharing your time with us today. I know you said you got some things to do, so we're gonna let you cut out.
No, I'm good. I was gonna go to see a horror film, but I'm just gonna stay home.
Okay. So what's your Instagram so they know?
Okay, my Instagram is at DJ Abby Ab, like a DJ ABBYAB at DJ Abby Ab.
Y'all go follow my brother. We're gonna have some more interesting content and discussions about his career. He has a lengthy career. He's done so many different things. I was able to watch some of this stuff, and just be in awe about it. And then to still be able to give him a call and speak to him. And I appreciate you calling me the other day, telling me, you've been watching and giving them the flowers. I appreciate that too, my brother.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm lucky that you pick up. I'm calling the king of content. Let's see if he
that's always gonna happen. I got some some cool things happening. So people will see some more of my work in some other places soon, and I'm excited about that. Super Lover C, give them the Instagram so they could continue to follow you and support you. And I appreciate you, brother, for being a part of the show, believing in what I'm trying to set forth. And I think it's great because people always see you on the stage rapping, or they see you in music videos, but it's very different to see you delivering commentary to your peers and showing them love and giving them their flowers and acknowledging their achievements that they made toward the music industry. So I appreciate that. And we only gonna get bigger from here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely dope being on the show, man. I'm loving it. Yep. Look forward to doing more episodes. And you guys can follow me at the Real Super Lover C.
Right. And on that note, make sure you're tuning every Monday night, 7 p.m. for the show and 7:30 for the live. We're gonna bring some interesting guests in, have y'all ask some questions, and try to give y'all some cool stories that haven't been told in a long time or in a minute. Thank y'all for tuning in. And like my man Russell Simmons says, God bless. Good night.
Peace.
Peace.